So I guess kind of like I stumbled upon this tool, and it was kind of because I did the Laulima Lessons professional development last summer. And so I was trying to update my content and everything to go over to using Laulima Lessons from a Google site. So I was like, man, I don't want to just kind of like do the same thing I did in a Google site where I had like a web page with, I could ask student questions and they could just go and answer. I wanted to find something a little more interactive. So I'll so I was able to find this, and I think it works pretty nicely. And so hopefully you can see my screen now. What I liked is that I can just easily embed it within Laulima using the lessons. And so, it's pretty easy to do. All you need to do is get the URL, and then you can just, so this is the URL for it, and then you can just embed content within Laulima Lessons. It's pretty easy to do. You can size the window to make it fit how you want as well. So this is one of those that I created for my classes, just me playing around like the first time. Let me just see how it works and everything. So, and it's a pair game. So there's like an answer, and they have multiple options to pick from. So they could just click play within, and then it's gonna ask them questions. I know it's a little small in here, but it's kind of cute. There's animations. You got these funny monsters. So, and I know, sorry, this is my operating systems class, and it's all about file permissions. I don't worry about it. But you can select it, and notice it is timed. And so it does tell you. So it's a way that, after students have gone through and like read the content, that you can actually kind of like do a self quiz. Like, do I understand it? Does it work? Did I grasp it? And you could set up as many questions as you want. And it's free. I think there is a paid version, and I've just been playing around with the free version, and it is pretty easy to do. But this is kind of one of the main features I liked about it. So and it's just educandy.com. And so, we can even, for this, I kind of created one where it's just a multiple choice questions for us. So nothing too great, but you can see it's something you can play with. And what's my favorite color? And you can see it's time. So you can go, there's a score, but there's no way that you can like grasp the score from your students if you're trying to use it as like a graded activity or something. So it's just one of those that you can use to review and everything. So my favorite color is actually green. So, and then, where did I grow up? So I'm actually from Connecticut. So, it's kind of, you can see I have two kids, and one's over here playing on my iPad right now, being well behaved at the moment. So, you can see, keep score, you can have time. It's just a way for your students to kind of go through and use it. And it's pretty easy to set up as well. So you could just, create a list of words, matching pairs, quiz questions. So if you want to just do matching pairs, it's going to bring it up, and then you can see there, you got to give it a,
So Pete, how do you use it in your class, and what kind of activities do you use Educandy for?
Okay, so that's kind of like what I was showing in Laulima. This is kind of like how I've been using it. It's just to like, give the students a way to review the content to see if they actually understood it. Because here they have, I've given them links to like resources that they can go and look at.
So more like an ungraded, knowledge check kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just something kind of like fun. Like a temperature check that, like, did they actually understand the content? Did I grasp it? Do I understand it? So that's kind of like where I have like these questions where it's like, here's the command, and then, what's the correct answer, so that they can go and figure it out and see like, did I really understand it? If they didn't understand it, they could go back and, maybe ask me questions, or, go and review it again. So it's just this is really at the moment, it was just me trying it out here during actually my summer class. I was playing around with it. So, this is the playing around with it, but I want to do others where I've actually been thinking about setting up like for like review for like exams where I could put some questions in and it's kind of like an interactive review for them so they can go and test themselves. So there are ways that I've been thinking about adding to it because of I did like it using it over the summer and everything. So yeah, so I basically, it's just an interactive way for students to test their knowledge as well. But
so is it the text-based only, or can you load up graphics?
I think you can put images on it as well. I do recall, so, but this is Word. So, I mean, if we were to, I think with the quiz questions, I'm just going to put in just something. So I think there was a way to upload images. So yeah, see, so you can do images. So, and then, so you could put in, an image if you want. You can even, for foreign languages, right? You could speak the word and then ask them like, what does it mean? So, it's kind of a cool way to play around with it. And it's pretty easy to set up. So, and then one of the things that tripped me up the first time was that when I was first doing it, I didn't realize that the answer was the first one. So keep that in mind, because I was like looking, I kind of glanced through it and I was like, okay, this is where you put the answers. And I was like, how do you mark what one's the correct choice? So be aware, it is the first one that you enter to do this. So, last I checked, it was Monday. So, and then, it's the weekend. And then you can just click add question. And what's nice is it actually lists your questions over here. And so you can see the correct ones highlighted in green, and then you have your wrong answers. And so this is what, after I did it the first time, this is what made me realize, oh, the first one's the answer, because of, I could see it was highlighted in green. And so if you mess up, if you realize I goofed, you can just click the little pencil and it loads it back up for you. And you can make changes that way, or you can delete the question if you wanted. So, we could say, and then click update and it will update for you. And it does take a little bit. If you have a lot of questions, it might take a while for it to update. So just, be patient. But it's, it's pretty cool. You can just keep adding questions and going forth. And then to get it, so if we had it and you wanted to embed it into Laulima, here's the one I just created. You would just click on share. And then you're just going to copy this URL. And then if we wanted to do it, and I'll just add it in, you just go to add content and you would just say embed content on this page. And then you just paste in the URL. And hopefully I remember to, and then say try alternate, and it should show up here. And then you could say save. And then it's going to be way at the bottom of mine right now. So see, this is why you're going to want to resize it, because it takes up a huge real estate. So that's why I kind of like doing the 800 by 600. I thought that, that fit really nice by resizing it. So it fits a little nicer inside Laulima. So, but you can play with it to make it fit how you would like. There is also these activity codes. So if you don't want to embed it within Laulima, you can provide your student with these activity codes that they can then go and access it that way with. But, if you just embed it directly within Laulima, they don't need it. They can just click and play. And I did find out recently that there is a desktop app So, which you can use. And hold on, let me drag it over to. It's not playing nice. Hold on 1 second. So there is a desktop app that you can use. It's no different really than the website. So to me, it's not really worth downloading it and using it, but I did want to point it out that if you want an app to do it, you can. It's pretty much the interface is no different than the website. So it's not really worth using it, I felt, but I just wanted to mention it. So it's just, as I said, it's just a fun little tool to play with. So I want to give you guys some time to go and play with it. And everything. So any questions? It's a very simple app, but it's kind of cool because it lets you add, you can temperature check with your students. It's a non-graded entity that you can use in your class. Your students kind of might feel a little more comfortable doing it as well because you're not going to see the results. It's kind of an anonymous thing for them. And yeah, it's very, very basic to create, and you can, delete them as well and whatnot. So it's free. There is a paid version. And at this point, I couldn't tell you what the difference is. The free ones worked great for me. I haven't had any limitations at this point. So is there any questions? Anything else you guys want to see?
Pete, did you get any feedback from your students on this? On how they felt?
No, I did not. And I did mean to ask them. But yeah, and that's one of those things that I also didn't like is, I can't see how many times it's been used. So that would have been nice. That's one of those features that would have been nice to see, how many, if they actually used it, if they, even if they collected statistics about it, so I would know like the results if they did go through it. So there are some limitations that I have found within this that maybe the paid version would give you. But I wasn't ready to jump into paying for something that I was kind of just trying out at this point. So and my summer class was a little weird. I only had 7 students in it. So it wasn't the best sample size I felt as well to really ask them, but it's something I'm going to play around with more this semester. And I'm going to ask my students kind of a little more feedback on it just to see how they felt as well. That's kind of my plans to do. But yeah, there's no way I can find any information about it. I have edit, play, and share, and that's it. So I can't get any results about how they did, time they took, points they scored, or anything. So that is a huge limitation that I kind of, I wish I could see that, because it would have been nice to
to know their progress.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So there are things, and I mean, it's even, with like the YouTube videos, it's nice because you can actually go and look at, if you're using YouTube videos, you can see, oh, they watched it, or you can see like, oh, well, students aren't really watching this video, and maybe that's why they're not doing so good on this part of the course, because you could go and look at your views. I had, so it's one of those that we would have, I would need to go and poll my students for, and see what they thought about it. But as I said, my summer class was only 7 students, so I didn't feel like it was the best sample size to really ask at this point in time. And if you set it up, so I did like the matching pairs, and you can see here, it does give you multiple options as well. So with the file permissions, they could say, well, I want to do a crossword, and some doesn't work. Like this one doesn't really work as a crossword puzzle, but you can set it up where they have different ones to choose from to like play. And just the way I set this one up, it doesn't really work, but I just want to show it as like a crossword. So, you could say, it doesn't really work, but you could, yeah, it doesn't really work just because of the way it's set up. But you see that like there are different options, like depending on what one you select and kind of how you set things up, that it's not always going to be a multiple choice one that you have to use. So keep that in mind. So, and that was the matching pairs I did. And so it's nice when you look, you can see that the matching pairs by the icons, you know, you can go and see what type it is. But I want to give you guys some time to go and play around with it. I do believe you can just sign in with your Google account and go that way. So
what is the words? Like create
words?
a list of, create a list of words. Like what is that one?
That's the one I have not played with actually.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I can click on it and explore too, but I was just curious.
Yeah. So yeah, the one that grabbed my attention was the kind of like the matching pairs one when I first looked at it. But yeah, because you can always delete later too if you don't want to use it. Yeah, I don't know. It just looks like it creates a list of words that maybe you can use in another activity. Maybe that's all it's for, because it doesn't look like you can do anything. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Word search, anagrams, spelling. So obviously mine's not going to be great for a word search as I use single letters, but so yeah, so kind of word search, there you go, if you're looking. But obviously mine's not great because of you know, I'm only using single letters. So but yeah, go play around with it. It's pretty easy to set things up and use, and you know, just embed into Laulima, which I think to me was like the main thing I wanted, was something that I could just put right into Laulima, because I didn't want students to have to go and like click on a bunch of URLs and see, like, navigate to different websites. You know, so I want something I could just put right in there that they could use as like, you know, self-check to see how they were understanding the content. Because that is kind of, for me, is in this course, and that module is probably one of the most tricky parts of it. So that's why I used it right there, just so that they could kind of do a status check. Did I understand this? Does it make sense? So a self-check. So yeah, so very simple one, not a lot going on, pretty easy to set up and use. So yeah, go and play with it and let us know if you have any, let me know if you have any questions. So yeah, I'm glad people are thinking about ways you could use it for spelling. And please don't give it to me. I'm a horrible speller. That's
Hey Pete, I'm not sure if you addressed this before, but can you see the students' scores? I know you can't grade it.
No, you can't. So I mean, if you want, you could take a screenshot and submit that if you wanted to. But yeah, there's no there's no way that you can get information that I've been able to find out. You know, so that's kind of one of those bah humbug things. So you know, like
more for like an activity.
Yeah. So, you know, as you see, they have premium plans. So I wonder if the you know, premium plans have those you know, abilities to do it. But I was just trying to poke around on their website too, because like their website, it's very simplistic. I couldn't find anything really that outlines like what the premium plans include, or even the price for them. So it's a very basic, you know, utility. So I don't know, you know, yeah, you know, they tell you like you can download the app from here, but I don't know what you know, what it consists of. Like, what does the studio bring you? Like, what extra features? I haven't been able to figure that one out yet, but because even on their homepage, it doesn't really say anything. So you can even, so yeah, even like the about us and support, there's nothing. So it's, it's one of those that it's a very basic one. Not much information on the website as well. You might have to download the app and actually see what it consists of, maybe. And maybe that's the reason you need, maybe you need the app for that as well. So.
Okay, Danny had a question. She said, sorry if I missed it. Can I have the students collaborate together and play a game together?
I would think you would be able to do that, because I noticed where was it? Let's go to here. If we go to play, so noughts and crosses, I noticed you can do this, and you can actually set it up as a 2-player game. So it's like tic-tac-toe. So you could do it this way. This is the only one I've come across that's a 2-player game that I remember off the top of my head. So, so you can do it, or they can play against the computer as well. So you can do it this way if you wish. So, but that's the only one that I know of that you can use to play a game together. So crossword's going to be single. I know the multiple choices. I don't think the memory was, from what I recall, as well. So yeah, so I think that's the only one, that there is. So they're pretty cool. This one would be really hard to do for the way I've set this one up. But you could use it, if you're scientific terms and like a definition, having them match the term to the definition, or, as I said, foreign language classes. So yeah, a lot of different uses, and everything. So yeah, but I think the noughts and crosses is the only one you can use that is multiple players.
Just wanted to say thanks, and it's fun to get to play around with this. I feel like for asynchronous classes, it might be a fun little addition.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was finding it. Was just, I wanted something to, instead of just having students like read stuff, I was like, I want to add a little more fun into this, so and I thought it was easy to use too, quick and easy to set something up, and it not very challenging to do, and easy and nice that you can embed it directly into Laulima.
Well, Danny had another question, or maybe Jaja, I don't know, Jaja, you might be able to answer this since you have experience with H5P, but Danny asks, is H5P, in your opinion, more challenging to set up than Educandy?
I think H5P just has different kind of options. It depends on what you want to do for your student. I think this one is more playful, right? It's more like a game-ish. It's suitable for certain subject, but it may not be suitable for other subjects, maybe some activities. But H5P has more options for you to play around, and I think it's more suitable, kind of open to all subjects, like you can do more. So it all depends on what you need and what you have in mind.